Okay, so welcome everybody to the February 15th, 2022 occurrence of the Brigade Community Meeting, where we are trying a different time slot today. We are 2 hours later than we have been in the past so that we can open the meeting up to brigadiers from time zones who were not able to previously attend. It looks like what we'll probably do for the foreseeable future is flip-flop back and forth between the old time and this time until or unless we can find a time that works for everybody. So the hope for right now is that we can provide at least one meeting per month that is convenient for everybody who's interested in hearing the latest updates and participating in the discussion. So bear with me for one moment. I'm just making notes about who's in attendance. We've got new faces today. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, I have Lucas as well. Lucas, hello.
Yes, hello.
All right,
I'm not a developer, it's good.
Hey, so before I start sharing the agenda and everything, do some of the newer folks want to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about why they're interested in Brigade and anything that you're looking to maybe accomplish with it? And if the reason is that George forced you to be here, that's also okay.
Okay. I'm Lucas. I'm from Brazil. I'm a software engineer here. And George told me about the project Brigade, and I got interested because I wanted to improve my skills and besides help people with new open source projects, and because of the CNSCF project is a very good tool to improve my career.
Excellent. Well, welcome. While it's your turn, I'll just ask: are there any specific integrations with Brigade that you're interested in seeing created, or possibly interested in contributing to? I'm always interested in knowing what kind of integrations people want.
Yeah, I think they learning at the moment.
Okay.
The product, I think it'll be an introduction, and maybe we can do a session. There are some videos that I recorded, even in Portuguese as well. They can watch, and there are the 5-minute series that Kent is doing. It's a good way to. I can send the links for you guys, but at least they know that if they like back-end development or front-end development, things like that.
Yes,
great.
I've watched the video before. I thought it very interesting, the library you're building, and I want to contribute for translate for Portuguese. Then we can show it for Portuguese people here in Brazil as well. And I've been learning yet, as George told you. So I hope I can help you in something.
Yeah, awesome. Well, welcome. Does anybody else want to introduce themselves quickly and say a little bit about what they're hoping to do with Brigade?
I can say something. My name is Juan. I was invited by George. I'm front-end developer. I also worked with .NET developer, and I never heard about this project before. I think I can help in anything I could in this project. It's a good opportunity for my career, That's it.
Awesome.
I think he did Angular. He did Angular before. He can maybe help you with React front end.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Sergio or Philippe, do you want to introduce yourselves? You don't have to, but it's up to you.
Felipe, Sergio, you want to say something?
Hi everyone, my name is Philip Schultz and I invited for George and I just here to learn and help what kind of whoever need.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. That's great to have you guys here. And there are other people that could not join, but they sent me text here. Humberto, and Humberto was here last time. And yeah, he's just somewhere finished working, but we have a good team to help, I think. There is another guy from India that he should join, but I think he didn't make it. Yeah, they all I think interested to help, and you have to find exactly what kind of tasks we can create there.
Yeah.
If anyone want to learn Golang, there are a lot of Golang development, and it's not that very complicated. Now, if you know .NET, you can. It's not object oriented or these things, but trust me, Go is not that hard. Is a nice language to learn as well.
Well, it's great. It's great to see all these new faces. And I I should assure you, there are also other people who come to these meetings in the other time slot. So we are missing some of our maintainers right now. We also have some PMs that work with us at Microsoft. So we're missing a number of people right now, but this is fantastic to see so many new faces at once. This really helps to grow the community and specifically the active community, people who are actually interested in connecting and talking about this and doing stuff. So this is awesome. I'm just so thrilled to see all of you today. So thanks. I'll share my screen and we'll get into the agenda. We don't have too much to talk about today, which means that we will have an opportunity to go over a lot of questions or things that you guys want to discuss. So can everybody see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
So I am taking notes right now, so nobody has to worry about that. I'm taking them offline though in my notebook. I'll pop them in here a little bit later on. So the first thing I wanted to cover today is that Brigade 230 is out. I think we released it late on Friday, but it was kind of too late in the day, too late in the week to make a big deal out of it. So we kind of kept quiet about it over the weekend, and then we made a bigger deal about it on Monday. Happy Valentine's Day, Brigadiers, here's a new release, that sort of thing. I think our tweet said, who wants flowers when you could have a shiny new brigade? So that's out now. It's got quite a few features compared to our previous minor releases. The big feature that's in it that I really want people to know about is that there is the option, it's completely opt-in, but there's the option to automatically grant read-only permissions to new users, which is a good way to reduce the number of access requests that a busy admin may have to deal with. So obviously you only want to do that if you know who all of your users are. So like I for instance, in our cluster, I have it set up so that you do authentication using GitHub. and I have it limited to members of the Brigade org. So since I know who all of those people are, I don't mind if they automatically get read-only permissions the first time that they log in. So that's a cool new feature that I want to make sure people know about. We did blog about it. So there's details about it out there. Kind of sort of related to that, the next episode of Brigade in 5 Minutes, I'll be trying to film that later this week. You know, one of my constraints is that I can only do it on days where the house is quiet. So if my wife or my children are around, I can't film. So I'm hoping that I have the opportunity to do that probably tomorrow. And it's going to focus again on authorization stuff. So there's been a lot of progress on the cron event source, which was originally created by George, and is just really fantastic. I'm already dreaming up ideas for how to use this thing. And I think probably immediately following this following this meeting, I'm going to cut a first non-GA release. So I'm going to cut a 010 and have that formally released. So it should be easy to install and use and kick the tires. And if we can get any sort of feedback from the community on that, I think that there's probably not too much more that has to be done to it in order for us to just declare it GA and release it as a 1.0.
Nice.
There's also been gradual progress on V2 compatible Kashti. For those who may not know, Kashti was the web UI for Brigade 1, and we cut Brigade 2 without having a compatible UI. So we are kind of playing catch up right now. What I have right now, I would say, is a prototype. I'm not a front-end developer. I think React is really cool, but I'm also really new to React. I don't feel super confident in what I've done. I'm just not a front-end guy. So what I'm doing is a prototype, and what I'm really hoping for is help with this at some point. I just want to get the prototype to a certain point and then see if there's somebody else I can hand this off to. Before everybody jumps and volunteers for that, because I know we do have a few front-end people here, I do want to highlight, this is kind of related to the next bullet. The dashboard could be a good Google Summer of Code project for somebody who's early in career. I'm gonna have to find the link. I'll put the link for it here in the notes when I catch up. But I did create a list of 3 potential projects, Brigade related projects for Google Summer of Code. I don't know very much about how participants either select projects or are paired with projects or whatever. I hope to find out some more information about that soon. We did have actually one person already, somebody from India who's currently in university, who reached out and was interested in doing Google Summer of Code with us this summer. So there are 3 projects that he kind of gets first dibs on if he's interested. But still, I think there's going to be plenty of work to do on that dashboard. So if somebody wants to partner maybe with somebody who's participating in Summer of Code, that might work also. So that's really pretty much all there was on the agenda. Just a quick recap of what's come out recently and what's being released in the near future. And like I said, I didn't really have too much more than that to discuss today. So if anybody, I'll stop screen sharing right now. If anybody has questions or things they want to talk about, I want to open up the floor to everybody else.
I'm gonna ask guys on it. Yeah, I think you did a great job, Kent, on the cron job to make that production ready. Yeah, I create like a first version was missing some things there. Thanks, was nice to see.
Oh,
Kent.
but don't sell yourself short. You did a great job. I sanded off some of the rough edges, but I mean, you gave me something really great to start with. So thank you very much for that. Most of the credit there goes to you, my friend.
No problem. Yeah, I want to create like the same thing for Discord and for Teams. I think I created already 2 repos at the Azure, community, and I can follow the same style that you did, just to be production ready from the beginning, maybe. And that's what I'm doing. They are empty at the moment, but they are like, if someone wanna learn a little bit of Golang, it's very simple code. Okay, it's not rock science. It's just calling like APIs from Brigade, pretty much, and some Golang libraries. It's very simple. For a developer, they are most like senior developers here. They're doing .NET development for a while. They can pick very quickly, I think. If I sit down and show exactly how that works, you're going to see that's not rock science. It's very simple. Sounds good, like D1 or Lucas. When I give a go on that Golang, we call gateways. Sounds good, Anna. When I give a go.
I don't think so.
No.
Hey, George, let me mention also, since a few people mentioned front end expertise, obviously gateways are back end code, but we do have an SDK for JavaScript and TypeScript as well. So if that's a language that some contributors are more familiar with, it's perfectly acceptable to write a gateway in TypeScript or JavaScript. That would work just fine. So I don't want anybody to feel like they have to learn Go in order to contribute. It would be perfectly fine to write TypeScript gateways. I would prefer TypeScript over JavaScript, but really either is fine. Yeah, I don't want anybody to feel like they have to learn Go.
Yeah, it could be a good idea. You want maybe you like JavaScript, TypeScript as well, or .NET developers don't like JavaScript too much.
I don't like JavaScript too much either, but I do like TypeScript. Somehow that clicks in my head better than JavaScript does.
Yeah.
Yes, TypeScript sounds good. It's better. I normally work in framework Angular, and TypeScript sounds good.
Okay, good. Yeah. So anybody who wants to try making a gateway, if TypeScript is more comfortable for you, don't worry about Go. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's more structured. A gateway is just like Microsoft Teams, or when someone type like a command or Microsoft Teams, we can just send that as a webhook to Brigade, and this gateway is just going to receive these commands and send to be processed by Brigade. Then you can send also some things back to Teams. The same for like Discord server. We have one for Slack. The Slack is done? Not yet.
The Slack one is a work in progress.
Okay. Yeah. you know, like on Slack when you say, you know, build something, build software, then like trigger your build process, and Brigade can be that bridge. You have gateways to integrate like GitHub, for example. When some event happen on GitHub, we sending that to Brigade, we processing something and sending some results back, all asynchronous. Just an example, but I'm probably going to do a 5 minutes video on gateway as well. See if I can do in 5 minutes, but maybe 7 or 8.
Yeah, yeah, I'm finding that doing things in 5 minutes is a bigger challenge than I thought it would be. I spend more time cutting things down to 5 minutes than you know. I should change the name of it to Brigade in 10 minutes. It would be easier.
Probably. Sounds good. Yeah, I think you know, that's pretty much what's Brigade. There are the core of Brigade. That's a little bit more complex than normally, you know, it's Kent that's working on that. And if you look Brigade core on GitHub, there's a few repos there, mostly gateways, some libraries, and the front end now with Kashid, and there are the translation that we have to discuss, Kent, how we can do the translation for Portuguese.
Mhm.
If you
Oh
can
yeah,
talk with
that's right.
someone from the team.
Yeah, I still need to consult with, let me make a note about this. I still need to consult with another maintainer about that, because I don't know what I don't know the approach to use for segmenting the documentation into 2 different languages. So I'm going to talk to somebody else about that. I'm going to make a note of that. Okay.
And if you don't know Brigade yet, you haven't time to watch the video I sent you. It's just like a asynchronous scripting framework. It's very low level. You can do many things. You can build things on top of that. And that's one thing that we are building like samples for people to understand how to use the product. And we're using a lot for GitHub integrations. But those scripts are done in JavaScript or TypeScript. And you can create like a logic, like a workflow. And you do like subscription for events. And every time that event happens, your script is going to run, execute as a container, as a pod inside Kubernetes. But you are able to create multiple processes on this workflow. It's very flexible. And one thing I'm missing, Kent, is more complex samples. We have very simple, straightforward examples. I was looking for to have something more complex for people to understand what they can do. If you can maybe share what you're doing, if you have anything that you can share. Because on the documentation is very, you know, the TypeScript and JavaScript that we have there is just like very simple.
Does it I think the probably the most complex workflows that we have that I know of are the ones for Brigade itself, because we use Brigade to build and test Brigade, so we call it, you know, eating our own dog food. Or some people try to be more classy about it and they say like drinking your own wine or something like that. But do you want me to show that? Is that helpful?
Yeah, it'd be nice if you can show, because it'll be recorded here. And then
Yeah, one second here. Let me pull it up. All right. I apologize about the barking dog in the background. Let's see.
by the way, at the Azure channel, there are like 2 videos with Ken. And also there is a Brigade Now channel with a few videos. And we could also create like a playlist in Portuguese there and publish some, maybe 5 minutes in Portuguese as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. On our YouTube channel, we can create a Portuguese specific playlist. I'm taking a note about that as well.
Yeah, there is one video in Portuguese already on my channel. We can move there if you want.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So there's some more complicated stuff in here, but I'm going to skip to the part that's like really easily comprehensible and kind of nicely sums up the sort of things that you can do with Brigade. So this right here, we're registering a listener basically for an event of type CI pipeline requested that has been emitted by the GitHub gateway. So basically we're saying run all of this stuff when you get one of those events. And you can see this is kind of probably one of our more complex examples where we've created something, kind of an arbitrarily complex arrangement of containers. So you see this serial group will cause this chunk of work and this chunk of work and this chunk of work to run in sequence, serial group. But this chunk of work has many other smaller chunks within it that can run concurrently. Same for this one. So basically, all of these will run concurrently. When they all complete, all of these will run concurrently. When they all complete, this will run. And each one of these is what we call a job. And a job is just basically a discrete task that you are standing up in its own container based on a particular image. So test unit go job runs go-based unit tests in like a Golang container. Lint go job, similar, lint's go code. You see we have test unit JS. So we do have some JavaScript components to the project. Obviously, you're not going to test them in a Golang container. You're going to test them in like a node container or something like that. So, each of these is defined elsewhere up here. Don't worry so much about that. It's pretty simple, actually. But basically at the end of the day, the idea here is that you respond to an event with some arrangement of containers, and Brigade gives you the tools to coordinate all of that. So if you think of Kubernetes as orchestration for usually long-running processes, web servers and databases and things like that, you can think of Brigade as orchestration for short-running tasks. Does that help at all, George?
I think for me it helps, like if you want to create flows that's more complex than probably Azure function can do. And like you said, you have concurrency, you have serial groups there. I don't think you can do that very easy using Azure function, for example. What do you think? And it's not isolated in containers.
Yeah, and it's also important to make the distinction here that all of this is asynchronous also. So when you launch a job, really it doesn't run right away. It gets stuck in a queue, and it will run when the system has capacity for it. So there is that aspect to this as well. Yeah, it's really, I think, as I said, I think the best way to describe it is as an orchestrator of sorts. If you think of Kubernetes as orchestrating your long-running processes, this orchestrates your shorter running tasks.
Yeah, I think long running process is the key here. And for example, in Azure Functions, people do that, get like an event. But for them to be like a long running process, I think you have to use Azure Functions Premium. And if you want to call multiple sub or APIs or even other Azure functions and do that kind of a workflow, is not that easy as Brigade, in my opinion. You need something like Logic Apps or do that yourself to have a long running process. And that, yeah, with Brigade, you can do whatever you want, pretty much. I'm wrong. That's my impression, my view when I compare Brigade. I try to compare Brigade with other things, yeah, that people are using to process, getting events, processing, and now Brigade, you can send things back as well, like the GitHub gateway. You can send some results back to GitHub, where normally you don't do that easy with other solutions. And
All right. So unless we have anything else, I'm thinking we'll wrap this up. Anything else? Did you want to do a few minutes in Portuguese to wrap it up, George, or what do you want to do?
Yeah. Pessoal, da última vez a gente falou um pouquinho aqui em português no final. Se vocês, espero que tenham dado para entendido, né, o principal aí do projeto. Tem um vídeo em português que eu fiz no canal do Azuretá. Então, se você quiser, eu posso mandar o link para vocês. Ou olha lá no Azuretá, tem um vídeo em português. E a ideia é uma playlist no canal do Brigade, onde a gente possa fazer vídeos em português também e colocar lá. Vou colocar esse vídeo lá já, que já está feito. E a gente pode criar uma série de 5 minutos lá. Mas o projeto tem, né, a front-end em React, a gente pode fazer a parte back-end, como ele falou, em TypeScript, em JavaScript. Existe a parte de tradução. Tem muita coisa, não é complicado o projeto em si para usar. O que a gente pode fazer um dia é sentar todo mundo interessado e aí eu explicar um pouquinho mais em detalhe e vocês trazem as perguntas em português. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
I didn't understand a word of that, but it sounds good to me.
Yeah, I just made a deal to move things to to Brigade channel in Portuguese, maybe create more videos, and we book a day for them to ask questions in Portuguese.
Oh yeah, awesome.
And you see exactly where each one can start helping.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, thank you everybody for coming.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
so just
Thank
a reminder, the next occurrence of this meeting will be 2 hours earlier than this, and then the one following that will be at this time again. So we're going to alternate so that everyone who's interested in attending has at least one meeting per month that they should be able to make it to. All right.
Okay.
Okay. See everybody online.
Yeah.
See you.
See you the next time.
Thanks, guys.